Hello and welcome to another gameplay review on the Virkayu gameplay channel, and in this one we have the Viking Olaf. It's been a while. He was dominating in December when we first had him on one of these videos, when we started doing the gameplay breakdowns, but you know, he was changed, the jungle was changed, Goredrinker was changed, but basically everything's changed since then. But we're seeing a little bit of a resurgence in the win rate department specifically. Play rate is still around, you know, your 2%. We had a good NA game in December before apparently the server died, but I tried to have a look to see what was going on, you know, currently. Hardly any games, same thing for EU West, hardly any games, but Korea has more Olaf played than those other two regions, so here we are. I do try to vary the servers to some degree, but the most important thing is the game knowledge. And to that end, Talia against Olaf. Now we have here Jace, Talia, Lucian, Jhin, and Nivea. Now, prototypically, as your bottom lane gets caught out, because as you would have noticed, everyone was kind of watching the top side. No one was watching the entrances for this. Runes are on your screen, obviously you would have seen those. You won't really go Goredrinker into so many melees, but when you have Ghost and when you have the Olaf ultimate, he's one of those melee champions that can actually still benefit greatly from going that item, because you can always gap close, get the active, and get the healing. So that's actually kind of interesting. Same thing, I guess, with Aatrox to a certain degree, but Olaf really is, you know, the quintessential, I can use Goredrinker in any situation, and he does. There are Stridebreaker variants, but no other mythic registers at all, so that diversification of itemization, it ain't working on the Olaf, my friends. Now, at this point, this is a great ward by the Lysandra. If you were paying attention to the minimap, you would have seen the Talia took this and the Raptor camp. Now, adaptability is the most important thing for jungle mains. Adaptability, I'm curious here actually, we don't have a scanner. So we don't actually 100% know that this is warded or not, but of course the Lucian was low. So it's just sort of something to pay attention to a little bit when you don't go back for a scanner. But I think at this point, you're not really concerned about the Talia. You're concerned directly about the laners. And the fact that Lucian got low and had to reset equals, I can carry on with my invade. Anyway, so adaptability is definitely the most core asset that a jungler can have. You know, seeing something happen on the map that alters your game plan and being able to change what you really want to do about it. He leaves that baby raptor, that's very important. You see the red pings on the map, which means that Talia knows straight up Olaf has run across, he's most likely taking those things, and she could, in theory, right, go ahead and face check, but why would she? There's just so much risk for her to do that, and of course, he hasn't walked over these wards. I don't know, it's high-low. If you literally see this happen, right, as Talia gets a gank at the bottom lane and gives doubles to Ezreal, if you see this happen, I'm going to reverse a little bit, as an Olaf, and you carry on to your bottom lane camps, that's ridiculous. You know, no jungler worth his salt is making this mistake, and I know it does happen to a lot of you, so pay attention to this, adapt your pathing, go on that vertical jungling route, we have no issue with that. Olaf is going to clear the whole red side. Talia says, you know what, I can't contest it, better go gank bottom lane. Obviously, they burnt sums early, which means she can easily go back bottom lane. Nice flash there by the Jhin, heal to try to keep her alive. She flashes way too late. Ezreal is a champion with extreme power, and if it goes egg mode, kind of a benefit of that. Did they get another one here? Could be close. There we go. So bottom lane is up and running. Meanwhile, Olaf is going to show Jace the golden age of Vikings. Told the Rumble to push, and if he didn't tell the Rumble to push, Rumble should know, hey, we have vertical jungling. I should push. Get that dive. Free stuff, free real estate, and a free kill. Now, this is where things get insanely interesting, obviously. Okay, let's put it back to our blue side vision. What do we know is Olaf? We know that she took our red raptors. We know that she showed bottom lane again with 20 CS. Wait, no, I'm dumb. 16 CS. And that means, as she shows back top lane here, with 16 CS again, you know that bottom crab is up for grabs. The crab for grabs. And at this point, you don't really fully know exactly where she's going to go. Because out of the base when she died, nice roam here by the Brad, out of the base when she died, alright, she had multiple options. She could easily go here and try to cut off the dive and the gank, or she could have gone directly to the bottom side to take this again, and then take maybe tier 2 raptors, look for the Krug, she has the Gromp. She could have continued the vertical jungling journey. And that's not any sort of reference to the journey that Bard likes to send his teammates on. Olaf, on the other hand, decides, you know what, once I have this information, and she shows top lane again, they kill the Rumble who overstayed, he clears his control. What he says, you know what, my bottom lane is going to drastically lose and sad things are going to happen. So, instead of actually enforcing this vertical jungling, right? What I'm going to do is let her do this. I see her, visual confirmation. Let me finish my walls. Now, most of the time, what are 99% of you going to do in this case? What is your gut instinct? To go back to base, right? We have 1,667 gold. That's enough for an Iron Spike whip. And then we can turbo steamroll to bottom lane to make things happen. But because the Taliyah chose the prior thing of trying to cut off the dive, got a kill in the rumble, and kited through this direction into this crab, it means if you go back right now, you are not only giving up all tempo control, you're doomed, right? Your bottom lane is also doomed. You might open yourself up to the possibility of losing all your camps. So what we do is we go on the extended sequence of extended sequences, which is appropriate for Vikings going on a long boat ride. Taliyah tries to show bottom lane again. The Anivia support not as troll as you think. Olaf decides to look for a mid lane gank before starting to clear. And this is where that lack of scan is coming in really big. We see the pings, which indicates it's warded, and he doesn't know that. But he knows where Taliyah is. So she's down a level and lower on mana. She does have an Amp Tome over the Olaf, but she's not going to run in and fist him over the Raptors. You know, she'll let him have it. But by doing this, by staying out, not only does he regain control of his jungle and stop the vertical nonsense, which we want to do, right? We want to do that. He also will be able to go to the bottom lane. I'm kind of losing my voice a little bit. I've done a lot of voiceovers and coaching this week, so excuse any interruptions to what is normally a melodious constant. Not really. Bottom lane is low, bottom lane is overstaying, and hit the Axe of Destiny, beautiful, and then go back to the Yin. We do have ult. Did we need to use it? No, but it does allow us to save the lives of our beloved bottom lane. And I think this is an absolute exquisite example of map control, of S+ jungling, of understanding what the enemy jungler wants to do, stopping them from doing it, impacting your lanes at the same time as Lissandra dies 1v1, and still setting yourself up for huge experience leads. The Taliyah now, you know, by taking this, and then going to the bottom side to enact this gank, the Taliyah's doomed. She goes here out of base. She gets cut off here. She takes this crap. She says, well, you know, I better do this. I saw the Olaf top side. But if she gets nothing, which she didn't, and that's the risk of ganking, of course, Olaf decides to go to the mid lane, fall back down to his red side to deny the counter jungling, and she can't sit around and juggle rocks, you know, while that happens. You know, she has to go back and clear her jungle. And now, basically, at this point, she's just so far behind in experience tempo. Now, Olaf decides to finish off his smite by getting his red. I think that's a solid. Waiting for our bottom lane to get back into lane. You can't go straight and direct to your dragon at this point if you know the enemy jungler is there. But if they are not and you have no idea, repeat gank the bottom lane. And this is something that's... I love it. Tunnel of Destiny. To go with the Axe of Destiny. That Axe was not an Axe of Destiny. That was a... Look at this. Just... Let me help you, bros. Excellent. You know, selfless Vikings. They just wanted to save the world and give them the gift of this selflessness. Clearly. Shiso's top lane now, which is kind of expected at this stage. She stayed out the whole time. I don't know what she's been doing. I don't care what she's been doing. And from a jungle perspective, that's always the best thing because you've stifled her. You know she's kind of screwed. So let's make sure that not only did we win top lane, not only did we try something mid lane, as Lucian decides to investigate the dragon. What are you going to do about it? But the extended sequence into controlling his jungle, into affecting the bottom lane, into... Instead of going back to base and going topside again, says, Rumble should be fine. Let me put myself on the objective side, repeat gank the bottom lane who had a lead and now does not have a lead, right? Ezreal's lane is thumbs up. And we get the objective if the Taliyah has run around like an idiot, then dies top lane. And there's just so many things involved in S+ level jungling, and by that I mean, you know, getting the MVP, getting an S+ rating. You know, you go to the description, and the link in the description below, the match history, and you see a MOBALYTICS MVP and all these compliments for how your jungling was just beautiful and you were the jungle diff. That's what we want, right? And not only is his farming really great this game, he just denies the vertical jungling. He adapts early. He affects top and bottom lane. He gets the objective control. He shadows mid lane enough that it's kind of some decent level amount of pressure, right? So, Taliyah shows here for the first time in a while. She obviously went down to get a blue buff and collapses in the mid lane here. you could look to try something. We're juiced enough. Bud is rotating. We get the flash for our ult, so that's worth every time. What is that now? 19.91. Now, instead of doing the Raptors, I think ideally we kind of wanted to do it. But Bard needs to go back to the bottom lane. Lyssandra's low with no mana. You kind of know that the Tilly is going to go looking and probing. The Lucian's here, so let's just give up the Raptors. This is kind of expected, but at the same time, you haven't reset. You know, what are we at? You know, we've only spent 3,000 gold or whatnot, and that's not that far ahead of the enemy team. So this is great warding, and this is, of course, all a byproduct of the Olaf's pressure. He's clearing the top side while this happens. I don't think bottom lane should have died at all, but, you know, they have been ganked a lot. What this does, though, is opens up the map for Olaf. Again, no scanner. This is very surprising for the server. The pings on the map indicate that he's warded. And it is warded. However, you see Jace going back in the bush. Let's have a look and see what happens. So Olaf stays to do the Krugs. Jace figures, aha, he's not here. In fact, he is here. He kills the Rumble, who, you know, doesn't think about what's happening, and Olaf is right there. So the ward does not saveth the Jace. However, the importance there is that if you were going for a normal gank and the Jace had a lot of HP, well, they saw you. And, great. That sucks, you know? So make sure you actually have that scanner out. Mid lane is looking as expected with the Lucian mid lane. We get this crab. Talia shows holding top side. And now at this point, let's just clear the vision and get out. We know we're safe enough to do this. We do have ult and ghost available. TP from the Lysandra. Brad is moving up from the side. He has no mana, so actually, you know what? Lucian. Yep. The spam duns. Kind of wish he had the new skin, you know? A lot of the Olaf mains don't have the new skin. Kind of like the red beard. But great. Another long extended sequence, though, and that's the adaptability. If that gank isn't plausible, if nothing is available, go back to base, spend your gold. You can go back topside again, and take care of business. So Jace is going in on the Rumble. The voice. Talia is holding the mid lane. He's doing what he does to get his meeps, and we're taking a second objective. So 4-0-3, a CS lead of great proportions. Ward that's too late. And now, you know what, by doing that though, with a R available, Nivea's top lane though, you can't R the wall. We've got 3 minutes left, 3.5 plates. This is a very aggressive move. He kind of wants to elevate the game state at this point. He wants to go back to base, spend all that gold, right, and really push the game in the into the mid phases, which I think, when you're an Olaf, that's obviously what we love. Lysandra returns your kindness with a nice roam, and, you know, I'll take that. We can push this, and now we have to be a little bit careful, because we're pushing the the limitations of a extended sequence. You could argue to clear the top quadrant here before resetting so we can be in time for the dragon, but at the same time now, you don't want to overcommit, so. Red buff is spawning, Talia's bottom side, Lucian is going to get a whole bunch of solo plates. Let's go back to base. Goredrinker completed. Ionian Boots of Lucidity completed. A couple of rubies and a pickaxe. No scanner still. I am tilted by this. This we can sell for control wards as well. We don't need it either. There is enough time to do red and to get into this, but there's no respect for the fact that the Talia could be on the bottom side, and I think we should all be focusing on this kind of play. The Rumble even almost dies. There's Talia showing... this champion. Why? Why is this allowed? I don't think we should be in this side of the map necessarily. I don't have the actual timer. This is what I really hate about the replays. Watch this. I have to do this, press N, and now it shows me 20 seconds. So there we go. You know, I have to do that every time I want to see it on a replay. It's dumb, right? Can we fix it? Can we put it somewhere at the top? That'd be great. You know, like LCS, so I can actually know what I'm coaching sometimes. I understand holding the top side, I understand that the Lucian was just killed, and I understand that the Talia's low mana and not really in a position to handle this. At best, I kind of like the concept of wolves, you know, if you're going to do some clearing into the dragon, but much like the, was it the Ivan video? It was the Ivan video. We had the same kind of time limit. He just went to wolves, he did his raptors, and then he did the red, and he kind of just floated into the dragon as the Camille joined him. And that was the last video. You know, talking about the second, third Drakes and positioning. Obviously, in this game, he's so far ahead, you can afford to just run down anyone. Let's have a look. The first axe misses. We do have spells available and ult available, but at the same time, if we don't hit the axe, that's a weird axe, you know, you're giving our prior on this. Lissandra has to go back to base as well. Bottom lane is going to show up. I think when you have control of the game, this isn't that much of a problem, but I don't know. I'm a bit antsy about that stuff. I like to play the human mind, you know, and the human mind says, my jungler's a dragon and got me a second dragon. Good job, jungler. You know, thanks for helping us. 1-for-1 mid lane support versus top lane, of course. I mean, great. Do some counter jungling. You can see the red pings now onto the dragon, so I think this is just a little bit of a missed rotation by Olaf. I do think I would have liked to see something a bit more bot lane focused. But he is easily able to sustain and heal and chase down. Look at this, this is absolutely nuts. When you're fed on Olaf and you have this S+ jungling mindset, you know, this MVP, I want to take over, you can do these things. He's 3 levels up. Oh, lovely. So basically we have Tyler 1 mid lane at this point, playing to the win condition, that is Olaf. Does anyone remember his Olaf jungle? Before he found Ivan, he played Olaf, and that was funny. Playing Lissandra from what I can see. It's great, she's an enabler, you know? If you like win condition jungling, which I think most people should, and obviously Tyler's one of those people, and Koreans have the mechanics and the win condition knowledge mostly. Yeah, great pick. And lovely for Olaf. Anything that can stun and let me hit my axe with ease, I love it. We could go investigating here, but everyone's reset, so please don't. I see this in coaching sometimes. You shove the towers, you have a good time, you get the dragon, you're like, all right, Virkayu said I should go and steal stuff on my way back to base. Yeah, but none of your whole team reset, you know? You gotta think about it. But hits that. That basically guarantees us an axe. We have ult in 64, active, I was gonna say. I just looked down and read the number. So ult is available. The Nivea tries to swirl us with an ocean of paper in that skin. Unique skins, I like them. A little weird though. But weird is good sometimes, better than permanent projects and tech dystopian futures. She kills the Lucian in the bottom lane, revenge of the Lissandra. And that's great because, you know, the Lucian was, I don't know, it's almost like he was too active for his own good. And you see this pressure point from the Olaf now? Okay, people died, now I can counter jungle and take stuff, and now I can trap. This is gonna die anyway. We have this, and up. I don't even know what I just said, but top side is up. It's the weekend, right? Please. 3,200 gold, free crab, 1003. And this is fine, because you know what? In this case, people are like, well, I should reset. My team are ready to do things. I'm ready to do things. Yeah, but you know, you got Bud and the Lissandra in base. And at this point, if you're Magi stacking AP jungler, then 100%, you know, we can stay out because that keeps giving value. You know, you can't, it's like you're going back in the field. Everyone just wants to be on. But in this case, you got a lot of gold and it's like he's doing a challenge. But Olaf is one of those champions that once you reach a spike, come on, we can do it. Come on, we can do it. There we go. There we go. We got there eventually. Olaf's kind of those junglers like when I spoke about Viego. Now you hit a spike of itemization fused with your experience lead, and you can afford to kind of stay longer than other champions who might need items to scale. But this is what we're trying to avoid. So I kind of like that, but at the same time, I think a blue into a reset into, oh, like I better help my team is a better play. And then of course we need to secure this. So those are the things I'm thinking about. Dude, sell this, buy a control ward, and buy a scanner, please. All of you. If you're 17 minutes into the game and this far ahead and you don't have a scanner and you still have refillable and you're not buying control wards, I want you to imagine the coach of your choice, can be me, can be anyone else, yelling at you because the vision control is so necessary, and you've seen multiple occasions in this very game where he's walked over wards and had no idea. And his prior thing was so great that Tilly had no idea what to do. But in games where that isn't the case, and there's a video coming on the main channel next week, 2 actually, that will deal with this kind of topic directly. Invades, defending versus invades, coming back, playing ahead, basically everything. Where those wards are really useful, you know? So, clear our red side. And now you don't want to farm. Now you don't want to farm because our whole team is ready to make a play. We need to be able to do so. So let's see. Axe hits, Ezreal hits. Woo! He had to flash that axe or he dies. But this is it. If your team is out of base, spent on gold, juiced and ready to, you know, push this mid game to a victory, now you don't want to be farming. That's dumb. But if your team are resetting and dying or dead or whatever, then we can farm, you know? Just don't be farming when your team is ready to make plays as the most fed member. 152 CS as well. He is really pushing. A nice TP onto the cannon minion unless you die. Kind of have to play the odds there. You know, TPing on the cannon minion when there's literally no other minions, no. I like the dream, you know? The dream was good by the Los Angeles. Comedy. I don't know. In principle, I'm like, it's a great TP. It was definitely executed poorly. But results-based analysis would tell me otherwise. And that was... see, this is the issue with Olaf. Eventually, this is going to become your nightmare, and they can just kite you and deal with you. But fortunately, the game state is elevated to such a drastic point that you should have no issue at least baiting out a lot of spells so your team can clean up. That's also something that's underrated. Very much so. But yeah, this TP, you know, not to use like objective thinking here, I like it in concept, but the situation has to be right. You have to have minions, your team has to have enough resources to play around you. If you're TPing into a minion by yourself, and you're just going to become the focal point and killed, then obviously it's a bad TP, don't go for it, you know? Right, ult into the Talia. This is a game to forget, but, you know, that's why I don't like vertical jungling. Because if you're the Talia and you make this call to do this invade, and the enemy jungler says, fine, I know exactly what my game plan is. I know exactly how to gank the lanes that you're still ganking. I know exactly how to deny the vertical jungling to screw your experience gain. Well, you're just not going to have fun, you know? As Talia or whoever you might be in this situation. So, because of our death chasing down the Lucian, our team is able to get the dragon without us. Unfortunate, but we don't need to go base, obviously. Don't go to your Krugs way too far out of the way. Baron is the next objective on the map. We want to get our team ready, so we clear our camps, waiting for everyone to join the map again. Lissandra doesn't have TP. She does have a back. I think, does she deserve the blue? No, we take it, huh? We take it. We take this. Now, I think we can immediately start this and bait it. I do like starting these things and baiting it. If they show, turn and kill. Every time, because it's just easy. Don't necessarily let people die and 50-50 it. See, like, their whole team is just turning. But bot ult hits onto the rumble. That's exactly the kind of thing you want, but apparently LCS teams cannot seem to draft proper comps around a rumble ult. I don't know, it's kind of difficult at MSI for people to understand this concept. But well played, and Olaf can just chase down. Doesn't really have to do much. And this is a jungler's dream, by the way. You know, I know we want to be... I've been sort of driving home this whole MVP jungling style this whole game. But this is the dream for us. You know, to do all of those things in the early and mid game, to help all the lanes, to get ourselves fed. I don't know why I have the fist down. And then our laners can just take it home with us, you know? It's like you just have that tear in your eye and you're like, wow, they grew up and they're not actual idiots anymore, you know? Their brains developed over the course of the game from 1 neuron at level 1. So exciting to watch. And after that, you should very easily close out. Just turbo sprint, literally ARAM it down the middle. 2015 Tyler 1. Except this time we win. Obviously. I was looking at NA Olafs just to try and get some NA stuff, but honestly, it was a shit show, so that's why I'm mentioning it a few times. This is much better jungling than what I saw. I'll do it for another champion, maybe, if I can get a decent game. I want there to be positives and negatives, you know, that we can kind of look at, not necessarily just a blind snowball or whatnot. See, this is the Olaf now. This is where the full ranged enemy combo is going to become an absolute nightmare. If they can kite out your ult, you're screwed. And that's where the ghost is handy, but that's also where the flash is kind of better sometimes, because it allows you to sort of flash, get onto them. And sometimes that's really necessary. You have to decide in Champion Select which one you want, but honestly, an enjoyable game. The strategy was nice, the pathing adaptation was nice. We had a lot of extended sequences. Pros and cons with our build path in terms of trinkets and wards. Definitely do more than this guy. But yeah, excellent. Nice to see Olaf kind of creeping back a little bit. When there's a lot of melee champions, you know, like a melee meta, then things like, you know, Cassio and Fiora can be good, and then Olaf are always very, very strong. You know, Ras too, if there's a lot of melees. So, yeah, keep that in mind for your choices. Itemize correctly, path well, keep your beards as beautiful as they are on the skin that came out, and honestly, the SKT skins is nice as well. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, all that good stuff if you did. Best of luck in your games this weekend, and as always, I will see you all in the next raid.